Mornay Van Der Walt, VP of EVO Rail Group, joins us here at the desk at the fire pit. Lots to discuss in terms of where EVO Rail fits in. If you could illuminate those who may not be as familiar as some of the rest of us with what EVO Rail is up to and what you're doing specifically, let us know where we're at right now.
Okay, sure. So EVO Rail is aimed at the hyper-converged infrastructure market. Obviously a very hot market right now. Lots of startups in the space. Back at VMware World last year, we announced our EVO Rail program. We take it to market through our qualified EVO Rail partners. Happens to be 9 of them. Obviously EMC is a big part of that. And it's also a great example of showing how, the strength of the federation, EMC and VMware together, and EMC is taking it out through their vSpecs Blue program.
And can you speak a little bit more about how EVO Rail fits in with vSpecs, what the relationship is there?
Sure, absolutely. So as you know, vSpecs is a reference architecture program. What we've done with vSpecs Blue, or what EMC has done, is they've taken it one step further. So when the customer buys a vSpecs Blue appliance, it's not a reference architecture. Single SKU gets you the hardware, integrated with software, integrated with support either 1 year or 3 years of SNS.
Great.
And where does EVO Rail fit specifically in that landscape? What's the
So in the landscape of the federation, as we saw on the keynote yesterday, under the VCE umbrella, you've got blocks, so V-blocks, traditional. Praveen announced this notion of racks, so the VX rack. And then you've got appliances. So vSpecs Blue fits squarely into that appliances category for those customers looking for core virtualization, based on vSphere. So you get compute, network storage, and management all integrated on a fit-for-purpose appliance.
It's certainly something that's exciting. That breakthrough and that announcement, I know, has stirred a lot of people up. People were very thrilled about that. We had a good panel discussion about exactly how that's serving customers. And I think in the end, that would be my question to you. Business outcome-wise, what do you hope to really provide in that end result?
So what customers are looking for is, how do I drive time to value? How do I reduce my OpEx and my CapEx? Converged infrastructure, incredibly successful. You look at the success of VCE with V-blocks. This is just an evolution of that business, right? Coming in at a lower price point so customers can basically scale as their needs scale. And like I said, a very hot space right now, lots of startups in the space. And if you look at what the analysts are saying about the category, multiple billions of dollars by 2018. And with EMC, we want to go after that.
And so like you said, there's a lot of startup competitors in this hyper-converged infrastructure space. What would you say VMware can offer customers versus these other startups?
It's a great question. So if you look at what happened prior to converged infrastructure, 2009, VMware was the de facto hypervisor, right? So it's vSphere based, probably over 70% of the market, right? We're working with analysts now to determine what the exact number is, but if you look at converged infrastructure, you're probably tracking around 85% of converged infrastructure out there is based on vSphere. Now, since 2012, you see hyper-converged infrastructure emerge. If we go and look at that space, vSphere probably represents 95% of all the hyper-converged infrastructure that's out there in the category today. So VMware, obviously, we own that hypervisor. Now you've got things like virtual SAN tightly integrated into the kernel, and that from an architectural point of view is a key differentiator, that will set us apart from those other players in the space.
And that's, obviously, that is, again, we're talking about the moat that can be created over time. Looking at the upcoming year when we meet again in Vegas in 2016 and then beyond, what do you hope to accomplish? What do you really drive towards?
The challenge we face today is that this consumption and delivery model is still very new. It's very analogous to when people were transitioning from a flip phone to a smartphone. Why do I need that smartphone, right? And so a lot of the challenges we face today are around education, building awareness that, if you go to this appliance-based model, you are going to see reduction in OpEx, you are going to see reduction in CapEx, and your life is going to become a lot better in that data center because you're going to focus on the business. You're not going to be worried about piecing together the components that make up the appliance. We are going to deliver non-disruptive patch and upgrade, so that helps reduce that OpEx. We're going to de-risk you. So when a customer buys a hyper-converged appliance, we de-risk them, we give them design and price predictability, so they know exactly what they're getting. If you look at some of the challenges you face today when you roll your own infrastructure, you're going up against an HCL. Now you've got to match all these components. What are the firmware revisions? When you're buying vSpecs Blue from EMC, through their channel, you've got design price predictability, you've also got assurances that everything has been qualified on that appliance. The hardware is tightly integrated with the software, and you're getting an appliance that just works.
And that's really, I mean, that outcome ultimately is what as I've said it jokingly, it seems like the big goal is to get everybody home by 6. Like that, at one point, the guys were in the racks and the servers until midnight, 2 a.m., roll in the next shift. It really seems like, in the end, it's getting whoever may be working on that out of there and working on something else, whether it be family, home, or the next day's
Work
income.
smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And so we're hoping by 2016, massive amounts of education. Customers are accepting this new delivery model. It's very analogous to the early days of virtualization. You go back to 2003, 2004, virtualization was like a science experiment. Now it's mainstream, right? And that's where we need, and converged infrastructure is mainstream. We need to get hyper-converged infrastructure mainstream. So that's the task at hand over the next 12 to 24 months.
All right, well, we look forward to talking to you here in Vegas in 2016. We'll see how you did.
Great.
There. That's a great meeting you, Mornay. Thanks for stopping by the desk. I'm sure you got plenty more going on in the day. We all have plenty more going on in the day. So let's take a short break to gather ourselves, our thoughts, perhaps a beverage, and then we'll come back and do plenty more. Don't miss a thing.